Previously on Back to the Story.
And as you lift it up, there's a sudden burst of light from the void beyond this wall-less, dimensionless room. An eye, golden, a viper slit.
Amson, can I have your jacket? I think she's in shock.
You can sense the pressure. You can feel the currents begin to be violent, twisting, churning above. As you can sense, you're coming closer and closer towards the surface. Alright, so after our break, as we hop back into the story, you've all just come back from the Everstorm of Gaethald back into Nymunet, the Temple of Altamari. As you get to your feet, Gath right behind you, others are beginning to gather around, talk, ask questions, some of them helping you up to your feet. What do you guys want to do?
I have a question before we do anything, actually. Where has the Raven been in all of this?
Did it follow us into the storm?
Yeah, like how far did it follow us?
He's lost. Just out there. Getting batted around.
I don't remember the last time y'all saw it, but you currently, looking around, do not see a raven.
Did we put it in the ball?
No. The last time we saw it, I mean, it was kind of following me around.
Yeah, I think we saw it right before we went. I imagine it just didn't jump into a fucking portal storm with us.
But looking around, you don't currently see a raven, at least not inside the temple.
Well, let's go get the orb, and then, personally, I wouldn't mind just resting a bit, even with the protection. I don't feel so good from all that poison.
Yeah,
I feel horrible, and I want to be warm and dry.
a short rest would do us well.
I could certainly use a little bit of time to recover from all that.
A bath, a meal, just a chair.
I kind of pat Amson's shoulder.
Are you okay?
I think I am.
Okay.
I want to change those bandages when we get back to the inn, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what to look out for, make sure it's healing correctly and doesn't get infected.
Thanks, Vess.
Of course. I'd say any time, but I'm hoping this doesn't happen again.
I'd rather keep the other one, personally.
So some of the other worshippers were kind of gathering around, but Gath kind of clears them away, knowing that y'all probably need a break. Helps y'all in to get the orb from Ceres's room, where you're able to return it. Before you leave, Gath approaches you, Ellory. Like I said, there's not much anything formal, but tell me where you're staying, we'll send something to you.
Yeah, we're just over at the Weary Traveler.
I'll have Braun bring something over to you. Leave something there next few days. He kind of smiles and grabs your shoulder again.
I think you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give Gath a hug, which is not something I normally do.
You can tell Gath also normally does not do that. And he has like the awkward handshake hug at first and kind of just pats your back. Oh, yeah, glad you're all right. I'll see you in a few days.
All right. And I'll tell you the whole story after I've had a bit of a chance to rest and recuperate. Yeah.
Good. I'll be by in the next few days. So y'all are able to take your leave from the temple, or are y'all heading back to the inn?
Yes,
yeah.
Please.
Okay. Easily done. The snow is very cold. The winter, especially, still soaking wet. But y'all hurry scoot through it as quickly as you can, and it's not too far before you reach into the inn, going up the stairs to y'all's room once more. Or I think y'all had two.
I think we need some fucking towels.
I want to take a hot bath so badly.
When do you not want to take a hot bath?
If I can avoid water in general, I'm happy, but right now I'm freezing, and that's the only thing that's going to fix this.
I'm going to get more wine.
How much wine?
I don't know, like 4 bottles.
Okay. They have like 4 2 silver a piece bottles, pretty standard.
Okay, no.
They have a few more expensive bottles.
I have a fistful of coin I haven't shown anybody yet. I am happy to pay for the nice wine.
Okay. They have 3 available that are
like not over like 50 gold, because that's stupid.
Yeah, there's 3 available that are 5 gold each. There is one that the proprietor Flint, the Genasi, claims is 12.
You know what? I'm tired and don't want to argue. I will pay him exactly, and then 1 gold tip with a glare, and go back upstairs with my wine.
Okay. He unlocks the case that has those and gives them over to you, and includes a few simple metal cups for you to use.
Upon return, I will go into the orb and produce my cups.
Does Felix just travel with a whole set?
I specifically in Embershore, once we had that orb, would have bought a set that keep there, that don't move, that he washes.
We've made the orb really nice, I imagine. I think it's been redecorated, and it's like,
I mean, he also has, like, backpack cup, and he just kind of scoops out when he's desperate, but there are nice glasses in the orb.
I grab one of the bottles, not the more expensive one, but one of the 3, and open it up and just drink directly from it, and then kind of hold it out, pass it to whoever wants some.
So we all rest, and Vesper gets her bath, and we are nice and cozy and robes with a pile of loot on the floor. And Felix will kind of like smile to himself as he takes out a scroll and casts Detect Magic on it.
Okay. What's first? Let's see.
And then just anything that Felix tells me is magical, I'll go ahead and identify.
Yeah, I'll just move everything that pings into a pile.
Okay. Getting down there. I was in another section of my notes. So you guys, you got the shield that pings. Did y'all end up getting the helm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that pings. The compass?
Yeah, I grabbed that specifically.
Okay, that pings. Let's see. The diamonds ping as well, the blessed ones. Moving down to what Felix got from the altar. The dagger pings. And the medallion pings. And the glass ring pings as well.
We settle in and watch Amson chant for like 2 hours.
And while we do this, since this is a short rest, I'm going to do my medic feat to let everyone take a full hit die. Not myself. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, everyone else is good. But I will not take a full.
Will Amson be able to get a short rest as well?
You might have to take a separate one if you're spending an hour and 10 minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So an hour and a half to identify all this. So if we take 2.5, then yeah.
Well, I don't think we're planning on doing anything else in the next couple of hours. So.
Heck swoops in out of nowhere.
Into the orb.
into
we
the
all
orb.
go out into our robes and just go, no, we're rescheduling this.
Felix will like vaguely point around and be like, Amethystus? With message. Just like, maybe. Amethystus? Hello?
Alright. Then I'll just get my short rest stuff out of the way. I'm gonna use Arcane Recovery to get back one first level spell slot. And then that's it. And then identify.
Okay. Which one do you want to do first?
I'm eyeing the shield. I'm especially interested in the shield and encouraging Amson to...
Because Ellory...
Just imagining her, like, shoving it in his face, like, here you go, try this one.
Because Ellory is literally vibrating with anticipation, I will do the shield first.
Okay. It is indeed magical. And we know that when you are attuned to it, it grants a +1 to your AC.
This is a magically bolstered shield. It should protect you better than most others.
Nice.
Which one's
I
next?
could definitely use it after losing my shield on the ship.
Because
Like
Vesper
the
wants a
dagger.
gift, I'm gonna identify the dagger.
You identify the dagger. It is magical. When attuned, it grants a +1 to attack and damage. And in addition, it deals extra poison damage.
Unfortunately, this one's cursed. No. No, it's...
Oh, you can tell that now, can you?
Apparently.
I mean, it's probably cursed.
It's probably cursed.
No.
It is probably cursed.
It's magically enchanted to poison people, and it will... it is also enchanted to keep its edge over a very long time. It is very sharp. Be very careful with it.
I will take it eagerly.
Let's do the magic helmet.
Okay. Also magical. Attunement will grant +1 to AC, as well as advantage against fear saves, and a swim speed of 40 feet.
Ooh. I'll just put that on the table and let whoever wants it.
And this helm is closer to ball size.
It is.
I think we were supposed to, since we're kind of having a short rest type thing, did we get a chance to look at the giant piece of armor that we swiped to try to fit to Ball?
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
I think I sent the info on it, did I? I can't remember.
I know we talked about it, but I don't remember specifically seeing that.
Let me see. So it's like the large scaled armor. So that one is magical. Doesn't require attunement. It would give you a base of 16 AC. No disadvantage to stealth.
Alright, I guess Ball's getting a bunch of upgrades.
Ball's AC
nobody
is
wants
now
that.
22.
Yeah, then maybe if no one wants that helmet and it's more Ball size, would Ball still be able to use the crown if he has the giant helmet on?
You'd need to wear one or the other. It'd be kind of taking up the slot, so to speak, of your head.
Alright, well I guess Ball will don this new armor and maybe hold on to the helmet and I'll have to think about what I want to do with it. Unless someone else wants the helmet of fear in swimming. I don't know what to call it.
Helmet of Fear in swimming is actually kind of badass.
In Las Vegas.
I guess I'll do the compass then next.
Okay. The compass is magical, doesn't require attunement, and it has a arm that spins, and it lets you know which way the closest storm is, in a vague sense of distance.
All right.
I immediately grab that back as soon as he tells me that.
Next up are the diamonds.
These diamonds are each blessed by the storm of Voltamari, and they gain advantage to any resurrection checks made using them. as long as they aren't an enemy of Ultimary.
All right.
Error to squeak.
We're on her good side right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
it's fine.
okay.
We'll address our standing with Voltimeri in a minute. The medallion next.
So the medallion, as I scroll down once more, this golden chained and medallion with an eye, viper eye, it counts as a +1 arcane focus to just attacks when attuned, and it cuts all ritual times in half for any ritual spell.
Well, damn, I should have done that one first, and then these would take half the time. Damn it.
Well, it's yours now, love, if that's what you want.
Sure. Does it need attunement? Sorry.
It does.
Okay. Well, I'll identify the glass ring before I attune to that.
And the glass ring is magical, doesn't require attunement, and it will glow different colors when different entities are within range of it.
That's kind of cool.
Ooh, a mood ring.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's not a mood ring. It's not inspired by mood rings.
Kind of a mood ring.
There's no mood rings here.
It's kind of a mood ring.
And if no one else is immediately drawn, it'd be nice to get something.
All right.
And plus, it doesn't require attunement, so if it'd be useful to someone else, we can just pass it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. So Amson is taking the medallion. Vesper's taking the dagger. I'm taking the shield and the compass.
I'm taking the diamonds too.
Naturally. Felix is taking the ring, and the helm is still kind of up for grabs at the moment.
I think Ball's taking it.
I don't have to have it, so it's just if no one else wants it, then Ball's thinking about holding on to it, and I'll decide if I want to don it. But if you prefer it,
Well, it makes sense for Ball to have it on hand. I think it could be, well, as long as we have time to actually attune, then it could come in handy situationally.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one we hang on to regardless, even if no one's immediately attuning.
Mm-hmm.
Because that could, I mean, we're about to go to a dragon fight. That could be very helpful.
I know Amson would do really well with an extra AC and addition of fear, but because he doesn't wear helmets, he wouldn't be the one to think about that.
It would mess up his hair.
It just clashes with my outfit. You know, I'm literally wearing clothes, so my only actual protection is the helmet, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, you would kind of look like a moron. All right, so I know we don't necessarily want to talk about this now, but it's me. What's next?
It's a good question.
I know we have to wait for Hex. Think of the things we're gathering, though. We settled on the Bane of Rotted Dreams. That's closest to where we are now.
Yeah, and we have a portal to Domheim.
I'm not particularly eager to go underground, but I think that's probably what we should aim for next. I kind of look around at Amson and Ball. Any objections to making that our next focus?
Domheim and the Bane of Rotted Dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
me too.
Does anyone
Solona's...
speak Dwarven?
I do. Solona's hex doesn't show up before then, of course. But yes, I speak Dwarven.
Good, helpful. And yes, obviously, if we get word that Hex is back, I think we drop everything and get back here.
We've got that chalk now.
And if I understand the magic when I identified it, if we can get an object associated with wherever we want to teleport to, So if we're halfway down to the center of the Earth, we should be able to get back to where we were a lot easier than teleporting in at random.
Okay, but we still can't teleport directly into Nymunet.
No, it's a few hours outskirts.
Yeah.
I think so. I am worried about when Hex assaults the city. I know the will is encircling it, and there are a few agents already within the walls. And I worry that Hex is going to have backup.
I tilt my head at Vesper. You been having conversations with Braun or something?
Yep.
And he warned you of this?
I saw it firsthand. And then, yes. And I will pull out the coin and let the message play. It's been weeks, so I have to
what was the
find
message
that
again?
Hang on. It's so long. Okay, here it is. Oh. I found it and it shot me way higher than I wanted to be. Okay. It says alone. Then there's a very long silence. And Vesper's just like, wait for it. Wait for it. And then it says, will outside city, watching me, danger, want me to kill. Don't tell me much. Trying, meeting will be hard. I will try for redemption.
Ellory looks highly skeptical. Hey, Vesper, could you maybe tell us these things when they happen?
Or warn at least one person before? That
I
was
told Amson.
I suppose that counts.
Barely.
Still, traveling alone to someone who has, in fact, tried to kill you more than once already.
Oh, it wasn't great, no.
I can't believe that I'm agreeing with Felix, but...
One of the vampires is here with him.
Fuck.
And he's like he said, they're outside the city. I'm sure they're waiting for Hex to arrive.
And I'm sure the armies of Whiteguard would see an opportunity. God's Rest is surrounded. Well, do we risk setting out for the dream, or do we stay and wait for Hex?
Are we able to contact Amethystis and ask her if she's seen anything?
Exactly what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
So we stay here at least for tonight.
Well, I don't think we were going anywhere tonight. Anyway.
I am not getting out of this rope until the sun has come.
I don't want to sit around, though. If she hasn't seen anything, I'd like to go tomorrow. I want to take care of this as quickly as we can.
Yeah. We don't have much time. Anything that we can do, we should do as soon as possible and as quickly as possible. No lagging around.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to rest as well as we can tonight. And then first thing in the morning, we'll contact Amethystis, and if she gives us the go-ahead, then we'll go to Domheim and get back here as fast as possible. Is that our plan?
Sounds like it. I don't know if this is going to be possible with the amount of time we have. Maybe we'll just have to see. But I was wondering if we can make time for it. If we could go to Ezekiel's Grove for a day or two.
Honestly, that might be our way back.
True.
We can teleport there, right? That's outside of the bounds. And it's not that far from Nymunet, so that might be our way back anyways.
I'd like to go.
You said your druid friends had transport to the city anyway, so...
I'd like to see if we can go back to Briarbridge as well. Tell his family. His parents.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that after the Bane or before?
I hate to say it, but I think we should go for the Bane first. Make some more progress first. I wonder if... never mind. But yeah, let's see how quickly we can get some of what we need done. And then if we have time, if we're not cutting it too close.
And if not, I'm sure you'll write a lovely letter.
I think Ellory opens her mouth like she's about to say something in response. But then she just looks at Felix and just kind of stares at him and says nothing.
At least a letter to the Barbarax might not be bad.
That's something that we can even do tonight.
I like to say it to their faces. Have a feeling I'd get an excuse to finally punch Xavier in the face.
He was quite rude.
I really didn't like him.
He was an asshole. Who knows? Maybe they'll appreciate Ezekiel more. It's not much of a comfort, though.
Maybe they'll just be more disappointed.
Well, if they are, then fuck them.
So do y'all eventually work your way towards going to sleep? In the... Go ahead. In the sphere or outside?
Felix will be in the sphere. He has a project he wants to work on.
I think I would be outside the sphere. I don't think I like to sleep in there unless we have to. If there's another option available, I prefer to stay outside of it.
Okay.
But I would like to talk to Vesper before going to sleep.
And before that scene begins, just to set some context, after identifying everything in the sphere, you're able, drinking some wine, you're able to get some supper if you choose here. It's warm. It's nothing fancy, but it's decent. It's good. They have a few warm tubs that can set up with warm water below. Again, nothing fancy. There's only 2 at a time. But you can wash yourself clean of the grime and dirt, blood, etc. Warm yourselves back up before you're getting ready to bed. But before you do so, you can certainly approach Vesper.
Hey, Vesper.
Hey, how are you holding up?
People keep asking me that. I guess I understand why. Honestly, I'm okay. It's a little bit disorienting. And it does still hurt. But I can deal with that. I need to ask you a favor.
Of course.
I thought about asking before we went to face Ursatha, but I kind of figured, if I wasn't going to make it out of it, then probably the rest of us weren't either, given where we were going. But, just after all this is done, if I'm not able to, can you go find my mother and take her back to Ember Shore?
Of course. But you're going to be there too, because it's my job to make sure that you're there.
I know that you'll do everything you can to make that happen. I'm just not convinced that's going to be possible.
If it's not, I'll be going down too. But I promise, and this won't happen, as I will do my damnedest, but if it does shake out where I'm standing and you're not, I will find her and I will bring her home.
Thank you.
Sorry we couldn't do it sooner.
Before the will and Felnor and all of that shit, when we were on our way out of the city, I was going to ask if we could make a detour on our way home. But, well, there's no time now. I know we've got to be careful about how many spells you use, and you have a lot of communicating you have to do, but when you have a chance, could you try and contact her?
Of course.
When we were back home, I used some of that enchanted paper to send a letter from me and Scherza and Mogther, and you know, when Amson used a sheet of it, he got a response back, but I asked Mogther and there hasn't been any answer, so I'm a little worried. Even if there's nothing I can do about it, if
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what tomorrow looks like, and if it seems like we've got time, I will absolutely send her a message.
And I've hugged Vesper.
Yeah, give her a big hug. If your eye still hurts in the morning, let me know. I'll take another look at it and make sure it's clean and healing.
Okay.
Get some rest.
Feels weird.
I'm sure.
Thanks for helping me do that.
I'm always here for you.
And I think we will probably both go and try and sleep.
I don't want to hug because I didn't realize it was going to happen now, but I do want to think about Indigo as I'm going to sleep. He said to think of him and he would show.
As you guys are getting ready for sleep and for bed, any other things before anybody else want to do some things? We'll break it up. Or I'll just go to bed.
Felix in the sphere will take out his leatherworking tools and just with scraps begin to work on something.
Okay. Ball, Amson.
Nothing for Ball. I think Ball will return or just kind of let the party know that he doesn't think the helmet's going to fit him well, and kind of gives it back to the party backpack.
I think Amson won't go to bed right away. He'll probably actually... Is this like both a tavern and an inn, or just an inn?
It's both.
Okay. He'll probably go down to like the tavern area and for like maybe an hour or two, just like quietly play some music and sing a little bit until somebody asks him to stop, if anybody does, or until he gets tired, and then he'll go to bed. But that'll basically be his night.
Okay. Yeah, people seem to enjoy it. So, Vesper, you go to sleep thinking about Indigo, and eventually, not long, it doesn't take long, after the events of the day, being worn out physically, mentally, emotionally, you find yourself falling asleep. You can hear the yips of some creature, maybe a coyote, something that wakes you up. You lean up and find yourself on grass, surrounded by a forest. Bright leaves of golds and oranges and reds, and the trees above and scattered, covering the ground. They crunch into your feet as you stand. You find yourself drawn, eyes and feelings, in one direction, this forest. Trees seem to almost bend to guide you in that direction, hanging over it like an arch, roots turned branches to clear the path.
Yep, I will take a deep breath and walk that way.
Okay. Walking that way, you eventually see steam rolling out. You feel the heat, warm. You smell incense, lavenders and intricate smells, cardamom maybe, coming off from the steam. And over roots you begin to see something. A stump, large, maybe 10 feet in diameter, not very tall, and it's hollow on the inside, filled with water, bubbles up, giving off the steam. And in it you see a man, dark, tanned, brown skin, hair this deep auburn red, long on the top, slicked back, short sides, a beard that comes down, a long goatee pointed at the end, a large, distinct, and angular nose, eyes wide and grinning, crow's feet on each side, eyes like cats. You see a man shirtless in the jacuzzi-like stump. He smiles.
Looking directly at his face. Indigo, I presume?
You presume correctly. Join me.
I've already had a bath.
Well, I see our business must be completed then.
Fine.
I knew you'd acquiesce.
Will roll my eyes, and am I wearing like the robe that I fell asleep in, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I will shed that and get in, keeping my distance.
It's been some time. I'm glad you thought of me.
Well, there are grand cosmic pieces in motion, and I thought maybe you could be some help.
Aren't there always pesky things? I don't let it bother me too much.
Do you know much about the annuli?
Not for me to think too much about. It won't bother me.
Not even if it ends.
It never ends. It always gets really close, and then it doesn't.
Well, I am trying to keep it as far from Enden as I can. And I need something that can kill something that normally won't die. Something that could kill a god. And I wondered if you knew anything.
You need. And what about what I need?
Well, I assume you're going to tell me.
You've already given me so much. You've helped me get out of that situation. He kind of licks his lips a bit. I seem to remember you offered me something. What was it? A taste?
You want blood?
I seem to remember you already offered some. I believe there was a feather involved.
Then what else do you want?
A great many things, but you want something that can kill Eternals, a god. There's not many of those to go around, not for mortals like yourself. There's something in mind.
Maybe. I know there's a bow, but I'm not sure if that would help me specifically. I need something I can wield.
Or can you wield a bow? Or can you play a harp?
I'm sure I could learn.
He rubs his mustache and twists part of his beard, thinking, perhaps
Unless you know something better.
I might know where the bow is. I might know how to get past those horsemen. But what can you do for me? You've already offered your service for a time. But something beyond that, something beyond your life might interest me. Something that might last a bit longer. You seem to jump headway into situations you're not prepared to deal with. Like this, for instance.
Well, I found being cautious rarely gets me where I need to go.
You know, it's been a long time since I've had a child. A son or a daughter. I think I might like one.
Vesper presses up against the wall of the stump. Like, to eat, or?
Gross. No. To have, like a dog or a cat, a pet. Do you eat your young?
Not usually.
So, you get me a child, preferably one blood-bound to me in some way, and I'll see what I can do.
Any child?
I want it to be a good one. Do you have any children?
No, I don't.
Or could you?
I.
Shake and bake, as they say.
Ugh.
Yada yada yada. A few weeks later, bam.
Sorry, just 3 people are typing. How about I think on it and I come to you tomorrow night with an answer? It wouldn't just be my child.
He kind of scrunches his face up like he smelled something awful. I don't like that at all. I don't like being summoned. You see, they did this out of a professional courtesy. I won't be summoned again. You understand?
Can you bring someone else into this place then? I'd have to ask someone else. It's not entirely my decision.
Why? Yes, it is. You
I
made
have
the
a-
decision to give blood. Did you not?
I did, but that's mine alone. If I have a child, it has to have a father.
Well, I'm sure we could arrange something.
And if I have a child, I know who I want the father to be. So if we could speak to him as well.
Well,
he could
I'd
weigh in.
like to pick the father, I think. Maybe you could give me a few options. 3 or 4. And I'll decide the best
I have one.
one.
Just one.
Boring. Just one?
I don't suppose any of the Fey are asexual, are they?
Are you
Even
asking
though
me?
I'm not going to let myself get impregnated by any random person. We talk to the bard that I travel with, or we don't talk at all.
Alright, have your chance. But know this, Vesper, Fidelis. Quite a little ways ago, you gave me your blood, which means you owe me a favor, one I, as of yet, haven't called upon. I sometimes forget about them, to be quite honest, but you reminded me, which is wonderful. I might call that favor in.
You said I broke you free of your arrangement with Clyde. Was that not favor enough?
Oh, well, it was a nice thing to do, a gift, certainly.
And I gave you blood to help us gain answers when we were interrogating you about Daphne. I think our debts are paid. If anything, you owe me a favor.
I believe I told you all about Daphne. And she's somewhere now. Well, one of her is somewhere now.
So that was the exchange for the blood. And then you said it was a gift that I set you free. So
Yes.
from where I'm sitting, it does seem like you owe me.
I can tell you're new to this. When you offer blood, that's a different thing entirely. Blood or cake, really, those two things. Worth a lot more than conversation, breaking a few chains. But you think on it. Come up with a few options for fathers. I'll come up with a few on my end. I'm sure you'll be very pleased with the options. And we'll go from there.
I'll get out of the pool.
Nice to see you again. And you fall back asleep? Question mark?
I guess.
Exclamation point?
I guess so. I don't know how this works.
And Jesus Christ. Okay. And you guys, after a restful, mostly night's sleep, exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally, cleaned up, wine drunk, that warm, delicious drunk we all know, love, and crave, you guys wake up in the morning. Warm and cozy in the sphere or out of it. The inn itself being well heated, windows frosted over. Early in the morning. Felix, I heard something.
Ellory, you will wake up to Felix kind of standing over your bed.
Ah! Could you... Ah, what is it?
I don't sleep.
Good for
Here.
you.
Here. And he will hand you a strip of leather. It isn't much, but I put it together quickly. It will... I figured you needed it. That was very impressive, what you did yesterday. And then he turns around and walks away. And it is
thanks.
a leather eye patch, stitched with blue. Very simple, but something to cover up the hole in your face.
I kind of stare at it for a moment. And then... I don't think I've looked at myself yet. Since I came back. Is there a mirror in the, room?
There's not one in the room. You could probably find a bucket of water, or I think you do have a mirror that is an arcane focus as well. The black mirror.
Not anymore.
Oh,
Haven't had
whoops.
that for a while.
My bad.
My thieves' tools should have a mirror in them, actually.
Yeah,
So-
like a dentist mirror, maybe. Okay,
Like,
sure.
It's tiny. It's tiny.
It
but-
works. It works. Yeah, you can look through it, and you can see kind of the eye socket is still bruised underneath the patch that Felix has made. The other die does have a viper pupil.
Huh. I think I just kind of stare at myself for a few minutes. Adjust the eye patch a little bit. All right, then. Then I'm gonna go find the others.
Y'all are more or less together in the sphere outside of it at this point. You can gather around.
Vesper's very quiet this morning.
Yeah, when we get back together as a group, I just kind of give Felix a nod. So, Vesper, do you want to try and get in touch with Amethystus?
Oh, yes, I will do so right now. Definitely. And I will cast Sending to Amethystus. And I will ask, any sign of Hex? We're going after the Bane, but want to be sure we're not leaving you unprepared.
I've been watching. Nothing yet. Some movement of undead around the city, near the aqueduct. We're watching. If he comes, I'll hold him off. I've contacted my acquaintance in Dolmheim.
I will repeat all of this.
A few seconds later, you get kind of a second inflow of words from her, sending cast towards you. I have told her about your potential arrival. She will be willing to help. Believe your friend has the circle to her location.
Yes, we're going to be leaving very soon. Thank you. All right, she knows we're there. We've got the circle. Shall we away?
First, I need to very quickly, if we possibly can, I don't know if we already have something, Ellory, I need a ring, there's silver, gold, or other value of at least 500 gold worth, without any adornment, just the ring itself.
Let me check. Might have a ring.
And I also, while you're looking through our things, ideally a sapphire worth 500 gold or something else worth 1,000. But maybe we can trade one of these emeralds for a similar sapphire.
Did Felix give the valuables, the gems and coins, or is he holding on to them himself?
He gave them. Yeah, he gave those up.
Okay. Well, I lost it. Where did it go? I pull out a ring. It's a gold ring with a black pearl, and it's
might be
worth
able to
500.
Will that work for the ring if I replace the pearl with the sapphire? If I can find a sapphire.
Yeah, that should work.
All right.
And I can replace the setting.
Great. I'm better at enchanting. I'm not great with jewelry, but so if you can help me with that, this will help build the hypothetical prison that Melly worked on. It has risks, but it may be our last hope. But this emerald is worth about 500, but if it's not a sapphire, it needs to be more expensive. So maybe if we run around quick and see if we can find someone to trade, just straight the emerald for a sapphire.
I know a jeweler in the city.
Great. And then
You can ask
that's all
there.
I need. I'll be able to work on it whenever we camp.
So I guess we'd better do that before we go to Domheim.
Yeah, if we can take care of it this morning, just a quick trip, we can get out.
I'd probably better stop by the temple, tell them that we're going to be out for a few days. Don't know really how long this is going to take, but Gath said he was going to come by with something. So I want to make sure that he knows in case he misses us.
Anything else? Other errands that can be done quickly? All right. Lead on.
And has there been any sign of the raven since we returned?
So, for the sake of time, since Ellory, you know the jeweler, you know where they are, pretty easily to get there, and you can do an exchange equal gold values. They don't have endless supplies, but they would have at least one to switch out if you wanted a sapphire, and they'll take the emerald. You can stop by the temple and let them know, and they will respond, letting you know that they'll leave something there for you in the next couple of days, at your room if you happen to not be there, or they'll keep it here for if you'd prefer. As far as the raven, not initially, but as you're leaving the jeweler to stop by the temple, and then as you're heading back, you do notice a raven kind of flying from tree to tree or from building to building that seems to be following.
I'll kind of give the raven a little wave.
It doesn't respond exactly, but it does stop. It seems to start flying closer, like it's given up trying to hide, essentially. But you're able to make that exchange, alert the temple, and get back if you so choose.
Okay. Everybody geared up, ready to go?
All right. I think so.
All right. And I will pick a wall, and because this circle, if I remember correctly, is not on the ground but on a wall. So
You guys hear a knock at the door.
I'll get it. Hello.
You open the door and see the Genasi, orange-red skin, burnt crimson hair, proprietor Flint. Hello. I just was wondering if you were going to pay for your stay or extend your stay. Just wondering if you intend to stay here longer or...
Oh, right. I was actually thinking about that when we were doing the errands.
It's been a few days, and meals and the baths as well.
Yes, how much to extend the stay for... How long do we want to give it?
Week to be safe.
Yeah.
We're not going to be here for a bit, but we would like to reserve this room.
For how long? You said a week?
How much would it be for a week?
So currently your charges are 4 gold for stay and board, food, and the baths as well. but for a week without any food, be 2 gold to reserve your stay. Both rooms.
Sure. Well, let's go ahead and call it 2 weeks then.
2 weeks, all right. So this would be 4 gold for your previous stays and 4 gold for 2 weeks. It won't include room and board if you're leaving, but it will reserve the rooms at least.
And I'll go ahead and pay for that.
All right, so that's 8 gold total.
Okay.
Before I forgot, SDM. Thank you so much. Enjoy your stay.
Meanwhile, we're literally drawing a teleportation circle on his wall.
Yeah. We all just freeze and we're like,
I think as he's closing the door, he glances at the wall, but then looks at all of you, clearly seasoned adventurers. One has an eye patch. There's a giant. Just closes it. This isn't worth it.
We are literally on our way halfway across the continent.
Okay.
All right, are we
really
ready
need to
now?
Forget all that. Yeah, I think now we're ready. Any last business that we need to take care of before we leave?
not here now.
I glance at Vesper.
Hex swoops
Okay.
in out of nowhere. Again.
Oh, did Amethyst say the name of the contact?
She didn't.
I imagine if our contact is expecting us, they might be near the teleportation circle.
It's, I believe they're circled, right?
I think so. I think that's right.
Well, in any case, let's get this show on the road. And I will draw the circle on the wall and usher everyone through.
Who's gonna do? We can do.
I will have ritually cast comprehend languages on myself before we travel, just so I can keep up with things.
Okay, so drawing the runes upon the wall, and you notice as you draw it, the closer you get to completion, copying the image that Amethyst gave you, it looks more and more like a doorway, like an arch. The arcane glyphs are almost set in this Art Deco style, hard lines and angles. But eventually you cast it and the magic inscriptions begin to glow, and you can see a portal form. You see almost it shifts into metal, almost that of this gray marble that pulls away, revealing a room on the other side. Stepping through, you enter into a room. It's maybe dark gray stone. It looks both worked, but also some pieces kept natural and rough in places, almost like a cave that's been carved out. It's a cubic room, about 30 by 30 feet. The ceilings are about 8 feet tall, so Ball, you have to kind of scrunch, bend your knees in order to fit. You walk out into this room. There are these sconces along the walls that illuminate the room in dim light, but not with fire, but these cups that are holding these stones that seem to glow this light, greenish blue light. In front of you, there's a rectangle den, a sort of set piece down where you would step up and out of this kind of like a recessed den in those 70s homes. The teleportation circle, the area immediately around it is sort of set down a few feet. And outside of it, you see a mostly empty room. On the left and the right are two, what you initially see are dwarves in this heavy plate. After a second glance, you recognize these are not dwarves at all, as these two entities turn towards you, but they are made out of iron. you see runes upon the metal, some pieces of stone. Instead of eyes, there are these iron welded wrought iron marks that form this sort of visor of this glowing red light. And beyond it, you see a metal door.
Amson, I think you're gonna have to take the lead here.
Yeah, that's okay. I guess I'll just address them. Just kind of look at either one of the guards and be like, "Hello, we're the Bronze Scales. We were expected. Are you who we are supposed to be talking to?"
There's no response from them. They have turned to look towards you, though.
I take an experimental step forward.
They both withdraw blades and hold them, not the edge towards you, but the flat side of the blade towards you. One hand on the handle, the other kind of holding the blade up in a blocking motion.
Right.
Maybe tell them Amethystus sent us.
We're friends of Amethystus.
Is there any kind of, bell or anything that looks like it could be a signal?
Make a perception check. Or actually,
As
investigation. This would be investigation.
May I also look?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not sure at this point which is better, my investigation with 0 added to it, or my perception at disadvantage, but that I'm proficient in.
I got a 13.
5.
Vesper, you notice there is a to the right on the wall that's still in the recessed section, a small chain that dangles out.
I'm going to real slow reach for it and pull it.
They don't make any reaction as you do so. You pull it. It withdraws back.
Well, I hope that was the doorbell.
You can hear footsteps coming from below. Reaching the door. Yes.
I'll take a step back so that I'm not the one who's in front looking like I'm going to be doing the talking.
The footsteps hit the door. You hear a unlocking and the door opens. And in walking, you see a female dwarf. Looks fairly young. She's maybe she's about a little under 4 feet. Slender, tan. She has dark brown eyes, chocolate hair that's pulled back into a messy bun. She's wearing professional attire. Pants and a blouse, a vest. She has a few things kind of strapped to her as well. Interesting, one of the pieces is a cube of some sort, runed, multiple runes on each of these tiny squares that make it up. As she walks in, at ease, gods. The 2 golems put their weapons back and shift to the side. The visors that serve as their eyes dim somewhat, though glow still. Well, welcome to my home. My name is Kathin Visor. I was told by one of my good friends that you would be arriving. I would not presume to know who you are, though a name would confirm this. What are you called?
Amson will give a polite bow, and is she speaking in Dwarven or Common?
In Common.
Okay. He'll reply back. My name is Amson Armsblossom, and we are the Bronze Scales. We are friends of Amethystus.
Good. She said as much that you would be arriving. Any friend of Amethystus, professional or personal, is a personal or professional friend of mine. Please, come. And she gestures for you to follow her.
Okay.
And I believe we do. Could you give us her name again?
Yeah, and I'll type it in the chat. It is Kathin Visor. You follow her out of this room and into a hall where there is a staircase left and right. You follow her up one flight and then another flight where she enters into a doorway where you follow to arrive into a library. There's a few shelves, all stone, almost like they've just been hollowed out of the walls. There's a few tables and such that have been, they're made out of stone, some maybe just carved from the wall itself, others may be formed or crafted here. Nothing wood anywhere that you can see. She gathers around one of the larger, longer study tables, has a few chairs. If you all squeezed in, you would be able to fit. Ball, it's always tough for you, especially the thresholds in. The ceilings are about 8 feet, which are 2 feet too short. But the thresholds themselves are only about 6 feet. So some of even you have to duck a little. Ball, you kind of have to squeeze through the thresholds to get in. I apologize that I do not have suitable seating for all of you, but most should. These should suffice, as she points to some of the chairs and benches.
Thank you kindly.
I was told that you are on important business.
Yes, very, very important business. We need to be very quick about it too. We have things going on back in Nymunet that we need to be back for. So unfortunately we cannot stay and chat for too long.
We can skip these pleasantries, I understand. The sky is opening up. You need not explain yourself. I understand that you are seeking to delve deep and find the nervous system of Northhill, or what may remain of it. Is this correct?
Yes, we are specifically looking for something called the Bane of Rotted Dreams. We believe that it will assist us.
Well, I hope I might be able to help. My grandmother, she did a deep delve beneath this mountain, reaching the spinal cord of Northhill. She did not make it all the way back, each journey leading her further, though some of her notes did remain from those journeys back home in between. I would be happy to pass those along to you.
That'd be wonderful.
If you're heading deeper, you will have to pass through the remainder of this city, Thalmheim. I can secure you passage safe through, in case any hammers, which are our security here, would seek to impede your passing. I've reviewed some of the notes, and can summarize them a bit. Near the bottom of the city, we have the Gravelaw mines. Are you aware of traditional dwarvish punishment for crimes?
I don't believe we are. Are we?
I can tell by your faces. This may be new to you. Often, for crimes that are punishable by death in other places, we put to work. And there's a system we call the grave law, which is where we put someone to work in certain mines. It is separated, usually in a deep and dangerous part of the city that we will eventually expand into. And if they survive, they live. If they mine for ore or clear out tunnels, they can be fed. This is the furthest reach into the depths of our dwarven territories, these grave laws of the city. You will have to pass through this. I can, again, arrange passage through the proper paperwork so that the warden does not impede your progress. Past that, things get a little bit tricky.
I make a very unpleasant face as I listen to her description.
She briefly stands up and goes to one of the shelves and pulls over a few notebooks, unraveling a few of the papers, revealing some rough maps. some basic cartography. The point is you have to follow some of the cavern system down deep. There's an ancient city far below this one, not of dwarven make, I'm afraid. Who exactly made it is uncertain. It is uncertain how old it is. In that city, my grandmother found a passageway, a portal that brought it from the Undercity, as we call it, into the spinal cord, or at least near it. From there, some of her notes are vague, but speaks of possible ways to use the spinal cord for transport. Follow it up or down, towards the brain or away from it. We think whoever built the city used it at some point. Not sure if this was before the death of Northia or after, but I can certainly pass these notes all along to you.
That would be most beneficial, thank you.
Felix just holds out his hand and smiles.
Of course.
Seems like your kind of place, Felix.
Well, I mean, it's what I used to do. It's where I found Aeon, and something similar.
You've seen this place before, or something like it.
Not sure yet. Did your grandmother's notes mention anything about living crystal?
She did, yes.
Then yes, quite possibly.
She adjusts herself a little bit. As I've said before, under the behest of Amethystis, I am here to help you in any way I can, though I would make a personal request, if you would be open to it. First, these notes, and she slides them towards you, Felix, are of my grandmother's. If you do return, if possible, I would like them back. The fate of the heavens and the world is of more importance than paper, but if you pass by here again, I would much appreciate it. Second, though it isn't my area of expertise and research, historical nor arcane, if you could share any notes that you might take down there, I would again be much appreciative and could offer you some compensation.
I think we can offer that.
Sounds doable.
Yeah.
Good. Well, when are you set to leave?
Preferably right now. I did have a question about the mines. Would we be in any danger of the incarcerated dwarves there?
Most likely, yes, to be quite honest. You are a imposing group. Most would probably not risk it, but I couldn't say. There might be a few that might try their hand to take your armor, food, a way out potentially. So watch yourself. There are other entities down there that are of greater concern than some murderers.
Anything you can advise us about supplies we might need?
Food, many rations, as many as you can carry, torches, preferably, even for those of you who can see well. None of you are dwarvish, and none of you can see as well as we can down here. And even we cannot see as well as what lurks in the shadows down there. Torches are good. They attract attention, but they let you see. Some of the notes, well, not so much the notes of my grandmother, but the notes of others who have traveled down more recently. I have reported something, or many things perhaps, in the city. It was thought maybe 30 years ago to be abandoned after some reckless adventurers marched in and saved a prince or something, who knows. But since then, some things or something seems to have taken up residence. I know it is not very helpful to know what exactly it is, but it is an ancient city, arcane in nature, strange secrets, strange magic. It does not follow the normal rules of most arcane practitioners. So what might be there would be concerning indeed.
Well, we'll definitely have to be careful.
Of course. I will, if you indeed intend to leave now, I can finish up your paperwork to allow free range through the city to the best of my authority, and get some sort of pass for you to move through the grave law without any impediment. If you give me time to work on that, I could maybe write a few notes on which mushrooms and fungi moss is edible and which is not. This journey is, well, it is best to be prepared.
Thank you again.
Yes, I'd be most grateful for those notes.
I'm glad to be of assistance. Is there anything else that I might be able to help with?
I guess that would be no. Silence speaks for itself.
I will take that silence as a no. If you do think of something while I'm working on the paperwork, please just let me know. I will work in my office in the back here, in this room. Feel free to stay here and move about the upper levels.
Thank you.
Of course. Are you planning... Never mind. I will let them know.
Sure.
I apologize for my vagueness. I will inform my security to not bother you.
Thank you.
She gets up, gives a very brief and shallow bow, and then moves to the back where there seems to be a desk and office, kind of alcove, where she begins to work on your papers.
All right. So it looks like our venture is going to be quite vertical. So that'll be fun.
How much rope do we have?
Not enough to reach a brain.
I have one rope left, I think, and I have a patch for more for another 50 foot.
Well, Northhill is the world. You don't necessarily have to worry about climbing. It's complicated.
I guess you're going to be taking the lead on this one, Felix. Since you have more experience with this type of place, from the sound of it.
Only a little bit. I mean, what I found with Aeon was sort of like a collapsed ruin that led into a small pocket of whatever might have come before. I've met a few creatures down below, just so everyone is prepped. Sometimes the darkness doesn't go away no matter how bright you make it. So be prepared for creatures that can make darkness.
Oh, we've run into some creatures that could do that before. Remember when we went under Nymunet and there were those things?
Oh, yeah.
And the really big mother thing.
Yep, they were eating off.
Oh, great. You're familiar.
Yeah, they were not fun, but...
If only we had daylight. Vesper, can you cast that?
Go down there. I can. I didn't prepare it today, but I can definitely do that.
That might
be down there for a while.
Yeah, that might be helpful if we do this and if it takes longer than a day for us to do this. Yeah.
Most of my stuff right now is to protect us from aberrations and to locate objects and things like that.
Okay.
Removing curses, making sure we don't lose our minds. That sort of thing.
I made sure to... Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'll take it in the morning, or, well, the next day if it does take us a while.
Right. I took Feather Fall just in case we fall. So we won't have to worry about
and
that
I've
too
got
much.
a few tricks to help us climb, fly, breathe underwater if we need to. I'll keep on utility to get us through obstacles.
Thank you, Felix.
Well, let's take a look at these notes. See what else they can give us to help us prepare.
Sure.
So I will send you guys a handout with the more extensive notes. But why don't y'all ask a few questions? We'll do the investigation style.
Can I ask one right
I'll
off the
answer them
bat?
to my best ability. Sure.
Do they detail, like, either names or descriptions of any monsters that they came across while adventuring down there? Because I think that's probably the most important thing that we don't know right now.
Yes. So if you, as you briefly flip through, as I said, I'll give more in depth. You see a crude picture of what looks like an insect. It's large, shelled, dark, with large antennae. It is labeled Umberhulk. You see these horse-sized, dog-shaped, armored creatures. Their skulls are like shark heads almost. They remind you a bit of the bullet that y'all fought long ago, but slender, more agile, faster. And these are labeled Felsen. You see the depiction of a humanoid figure robed with a hand out. You see lines drawn around the head, which is long, elongated skull. And there are like these squiggly marks around the head. And you see a large eye inside of a circle. There's a few other notes just as you briefly read through about dark dwarves down there, undead. This strange living moss. It's this red glowing moss that seems to kind of shamble about in the depths. But those seem to be the bulk. On just a brief flip through of some of the dangers down there.
How long does it estimate until we reach the spine portal? Time or distance?
So reading through the notes, trying to get a good idea, seems like several days. Judging based off the dates of the journal, it may have taken them a week or more to get down there. You're not sure how fast they were moving, if they were being cautious or if they were barreling their way through, but it seems to have taken them maybe 8 or 9 days.
Well, I think I'm glad I had the rooms reserved for 2 weeks instead of 1. On our way out, we can use the teleportation circle to get back up here.
I don't like how long this is going to take.
Well, my initial thought is that if they were, taking maps of everything the first time they were going down, they would have been moving a lot slower. They would have been probably prospecting for ore and things they can use, and making sure that nothing was going to cave in on them. So we can, because we have the maps, we can probably just flash through as fast as possible.
And if we're heading for this portal that was mentioned, I can help us find that.
Good.
So are we going to then prepare to just hurry through? Throw caution to the wind?
I think so. I mean, we're not casual miners or explorers, and it will attract attention, but we have to deal with it.
We should have at least some caution, but we're not looking down every corridor. We're just trying to get where we need to go.
I say start with a standard pace and speed up if we feel comfortable, but no use trying to be quiet or dark.
Yeah, as long as we can keep an eye on everything around us, we should be fine.
And I can't be ambushed thanks to the Cobra Hood.
Neither can I, thanks to Aeon.
Perfect.
That is helpful.
One of us should stay in front, one of us near the back.
Sounds perfect.
I think since we're going to be down there for a while, when we're doing watches, I should probably be paired with somebody who's not able to get surprised. I'm not quite as good at peering into the darkness now as I was before.
Felix doesn't need to sleep, and he can't be surprised, so he can be up the whole time. But I would be much more comfortable if, we were on 2-hour shifts with Felix, so that there's 2 people, and not just him.
Yeah, I'll be a little... I do have to meditate for a couple hours. Pino can help fill in the gaps as well. He doesn't sleep.
Sounds like we got a good plan going.
Well, this is going to be fun. Have I mentioned that I really fucking hate being underground?
I'm just telling myself that at least it's dry.
It's dry, and we're not stuck in the same elevator shaft for 12 hours. We're going to be seeing different things, so it'll be interesting.
Until we get to the spine, and then we'll be stuck in an elevator shaft, going towards a dead brain.
It's fine.
Well, once we get there, we have Aeon. I might be able to figure something out that the others couldn't.
And maybe to help us get there faster, I should stay in the sphere as... And you see Ball kind of like overly hunched forward, shoulders pressing against the... just looks like he's, a giant in a, Barbie dollhouse. And he's like, maybe I will stay in the sphere to help us keep the pace. And Felix, if you could let me know when you need me.
Yeah, I enchanted your boots today, so I can keep in touch.
We'll try to keep you company when we can, so that you're not in there alone.
Ball kind of gives you a nod. That should be okay.
And if we do get into places with wider corridors, then you can come out and stretch your legs.
That would be fun. I could only play... And then he names the card game that, I don't know, the equivalent of solitaire in this world. And he says, I can only play solitaire for so long.
Well, it sounds like we have as much of a plan as we're going to have.
You turn in to see Catherine. I've finished up the paperwork for you to fill in more about the city, and I've contacted the warden in the Gravelord mines to arrange a passage. Whenever you're ready, I can guide you there. If you need more rest or time, you are free to stay here. And she gives a forced smile. You can tell she doesn't do that a lot. The eyes are not into it, and then it drops immediately.
I think we'll get on the road.
I was hoping that you would say this. But when you're ready, follow me. And she will lead you out of this library, up the stairs, past a great hall. You can see fireplace warmth coming from it, and into a foyer of sorts. You notice each room that you look into is recessed, deep set, and this room is no different. In the center is a dwarf. Looks like a hired mercenary, heavy marbled rock armor, massive blade on the end. You see a necklace that is looks like a human hand that's been silvered, hanging around his neck. Bushy brown beard poking out. Past him, she leads you out of the front doors to reveal a courtyard. The ceiling of which it gives you Ball a little more breathing room. It's maybe 20 feet. And in this courtyard, there is a wide open space. There's a fungi garden, some rocks, a few simple statues. There's a golem, which she puts her hand up and speaks a dwarven word, and it kind of calms back down. This golem has 3 heads, each bearded with a sort of chainmail beard on 2 of the 3 heads. That briefly fires up before settling back down. She exits this courtyard and enters into sort of a private drive, and loads. Well, she. Well, I would normally take the carriage, but it would not fit all of us. It may be better to go on foot, though it will take longer.
Do we want some of us to go into the sphere?
That might be good. I'll go in. And I'm going to kind of touch Amson's arm a little bit. Kind of like that, hey, maybe you should come too, touch.
Sure. Yeah.
And probably Ball should go in.
Yep. Sure, yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm not inside the thing right now, am I?
We'll say currently not. You can choose to or not. Your choice.
I don't know, would you guys have sent me away yet to go play Sorcerer Solitaire?
I mean, if we hadn't, upon the whole carriage thing, there would be a pointed look at Ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ball is playing Sorcerer Solitaire.
I kind of glance at Felix, so I guess it's you and me out here.
Great.
With the numbers being reduced, she loads you guys up into, it's less of a carriage and it's more of a closed top chariot, and a servant of some sort, hooded, dwarf sized, though you can hear whirring and metallic sounds as they move, hooks up a large creature the size of a wide horse, though much shorter, that appears to match the description of the Felsen. It's almost like a bullette, but longer and more slender to the chariot as it is pulled out of this personal stable down the private drive and onto what appears to be a road that kind of begins to spiral throughout the city. And as you guys are looking around at the city and the stone buildings, you see fires and torches outside and inside glowing. Once you get out of this sort of neighborhood a bit, you can see a large black marbled with golden lines, oars running through it, a palace of some sort, before you exit this sort of private neighborhood and enter into the city district proper. A road that spirals around. On the left, high structures built in sort of a terrace style carved into the rock. On the right, shorter buildings that seem to have stairs that kind of lead down and off an edge as a spiraling main road with many divots and side roads off spirals down and around in a corkscrew, there it is, pattern down into the depths around a large cavernous void. And as you are seeing the glimpses of Domheim, this dwarven ancient city, continuously expanding downward, we will pick up with the Bronze Scales next week and see where they go from there.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. If you liked what you heard, give us a subscription. We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and more. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. And if you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can always email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. For behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, memes, updates, and more, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr, back-to-the-story.tumblr.com. Lastly, if you're in a generous mood, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory. We'll see you next time in Northville.